Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So I am starting the vlog a little bit later on this afternoon, and I figured I would just take you guys with me the next couple of days if I have anything interesting going, or yeah, if I'm doing anything I want to share with you guys. But the reason why I'm starting it today and at a later time is because I'm getting ready to make a crab dip that I thought I would share with you guys. I've actually never made it before, but the recipe looks so good, so I thought I would give it a try and share the recipe with you guys, or show you how I'm making it, and yeah, just put it in here to start off today's video. For my crab dip, I started by combining my cream cheese and my Parmesan cheese here in my little 1-quart crock pot, and this worked really good to soften these up and melt them. Next, I added in my mayonnaise, and then the recipe calls for minced garlic, but I just used garlic powder instead, and that seemed to work just fine. So after I had those things added in, I just added in my onion powder and Worcestershire sauce and Old Bay and lemon juice, and then I let these ingredients all sit in the crock pot while I drained my crab and prepped that to add in last. Once I gave my dip a little time to soften, like the cream cheese and the Parmesan cheese, I then added in my crab. And I will say the recipe called for green onions, but I did not have any on hand, so that's why I added in the onion powder earlier, just kind of as a little bit of an onion substitute. I let the dip sit in the crock pot for about an hour before I got it out to serve it, but it was so delicious. I'll also say this dip was really good cold too, because we had some leftovers, so we refrigerated it, and it tasted really good as a cold dip on like tortilla chips or something like that as well. Hey guys, so it's a couple days later and I'm finally picking up the camera again. Yesterday was just kind of a down day for me, so it's been like 2 days since I filmed. but I am getting ready to work a little bit on a project. If you guys have been around for a while or have gone back through any of my old videos, you might have seen my video on how to make like a knit pencil skirt. It's super easy and super inexpensive. I actually have some material that I purchased in the fall to make skirts, and I only got one made out of 3, I think, that I purchased. I thought I would take some time today and maybe work on some skirts. I'm not sure if I'll get any actual sewing done, we'll see. But this is kind of like my productive window. If you've noticed, I film a lot when Zendaya is napping. That's kind of when I can get stuff done, or when I can work on projects that like I want to do beyond, you know, just cleaning and housework, that kind of thing. So that's what I'm about to do. I thought I would just do a little vlogging this afternoon for you guys, and so you can kind of see what I'm up to. I'm not gonna do a full like how I make my skirts kind of video. I can link the one in the cards for you guys that I made last spring, I believe it was, but I will show you a little bit what I'm doing as I go ahead and start working on these 2 skirts. Here you guys can see the fabric that I was working with. This first navy one was my favorite, but I also like the black and purple one as well. That's the one that I ended up getting completely sewn today. So I started cutting this one out. I lined up my pattern, which if you guys don't have a skirt pattern, that's completely fine. You can just take a pencil skirt or a skirt that you have and fold it in half. It'll do the exact same thing. That's basically what that is. Anyhow, I folded my material along the fold and set my pattern on top of that, and then just cut around it, and obviously it didn't cut the fold because this will make one solid panel piece for the front of my skirt. After I had that first front panel piece cut out, I rearranged my material and set my pattern back down, and then cut out 2 more pieces, but this time I cut down along the straight edge of the pattern, as you can see that I'm doing right here, and this will make 2 smaller panels that will join in the back with a back middle seam for the back of the skirt. After that's finished, the last part you have to cut out for the skirt is a waistband of sorts. You just make it 2 inches wide, I guess it would be, and then I just cut it a really long length and trim it down at the end after it's attached to the skirt. You'll see what I mean here in a bit if you haven't seen me make these skirts before. Here I am just doing the exact same thing on this other material, and like I said, I didn't get this one sewn today, but it was nice to have it cut out so that way someday when I have some extra free time, I already have everything cut out and can just sit down at my machine and sew it quickly. So this isn't going to be extensive directions, but you can head over to my other skirt sewing video if you want to see like a step-by-step of how I do these skirts. But just quickly, the first thing that I'm doing here is I'm taking my back 2 panels and I'm creating a little tuck in the top that's about 3 inches long. This will just help the skirt to flow nicely on you and not just hang oddly. So that's what I'm doing here real quick just to start off before I sew anything else. After I have those little tucks sewn in, one for each of the panels in the back, then I take at least one of the panels, well, you just start with one, and match it up to the front solid panel of my skirt. Obviously, like I said, the right sides are together, so the inside or the wrong side of your skirt is facing out, and then you just sew one seam all the way down the side, which will be your side seam of your skirt. You definitely don't have to take the time to pin this, but I was just having an issue getting my fabric to lay together nicely today, so I took the time to pin it just to make sure I didn't have to go back and redo it because it was messed up or I didn't get it sewn together correctly. After I did the one side, I then took the other back panel and attached it to the other side the same way as I'm doing this one. Here is what I have finished so far. I have the one back panel and there's a side seam attached to my front large panel of the skirt, and then on the other side I will attach the other back panel, and then like I said, they're gonna meet in the middle of the back with a straight seam. So here's what it looks like when they're both attached, and you can see those little tucks that are in my 2 back panels. So next I will take this piece of fabric that is going to be my waistband of sorts, and I will just match this up right side to right side, like I said, wrong sides out, to the top of my skirt here, and just sew a straight line connecting it all the way across the top. Here's what my skirt is looking like so far. I just have that waistband piece attached to the top of the skirt, and that'll eventually get tucked down inside and hold a little bit of elastic. Hey guys, so Zendaya woke up from her nap. She's down here with me if you hear her, but I'll just show you real quick where I'm at. I haven't been filming like the whole entire thing just because, like I said, I have another video of this, so this isn't really like a how-to necessarily. I've just thought I would kind of clue you in on what I'm doing as I'm working on this project. I'm gonna try to finish this one today, the black and purple skirt. The navy and pink one will probably wait for another day, but it's all cut out. So I have the waistband right here. It's not completely sewn in, if you want to call it a waistband, but it's sewn from the side seam. If you can see here, this would be like your front large panel of your skirt. It's sewn from the side seam to that little tuck that I created in the beginning, which is going to go like over your backside in the back. And then over here, it's sewn here too. And what I do is I have, 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. I have two 3-inch pieces of elastic right here, and I am just going to insert them into these little pockets back here. They'll be hidden, they're inserted. And then it will just gather the skirt a little bit, not much. And then I'm just gonna tack them down on either side, like right here, and then just finish sewing this seam to sew down the skirt. So I'll sew from here to right here where I have this little pocket sewn in, and then from here all the way across, and yeah, that kind of thing. So then after that's done, the only thing left to do is to sew the back together. So 1 second here, I'll show you guys. You just turn your skirt like this and sew this straight seam down the back. It'll be the back straight seam, and then hi baby, whoa, and then you just have to sew in the hem on the bottom of your skirt, and then you're done. So it's really super easy, super simple. I think it's maybe 4:15. I'm not sure what time I started, but I want to say, hey, let's not play with those, they're ouchie. Okay, let me play with this. But I want to say that this whole thing, cutting it out, and I even cut out another skirt, maybe took me like an hour and a half once I'm done, maybe. So really simple, it does not take much time at all, and it's a fun project to do in the wintertime or whenever you have an extra minute, or if you're needing some new clothes. So my house is a little bit of a wreck right now, so don't mind everything going on and Little Miss getting into more stuff. But here is the finished skirt, the inside, okay? So it has the waistband, that's the front. The back, it has that middle seam, and then it has those two sections with elastic. And then at the very bottom is the hem. So I'll turn it right side out and show it to you guys. This is what it looks like. It's such a pretty floral pattern. I really do love it. I love these skirts because for me, I still fit the same size or the same pattern, whatever, when I'm pregnant versus not with these kind of skirts, because they're knit and they're stretchy. They're just so nice and easy to make, and it's something that is so handy to know and be able to do for any season or any time of life. Hey guys, so it again is the following day. This vlog is kind of jumping all over the place, but I'm trying to give you guys some fun motivation, and that normally happens, like I said yesterday, during Zendaya's nap time. But anyways, so while I was sewing yesterday, I realized, I've known this for a while, but it kind of hit me that my cabinet right here that I keep my sewing stuff in was like a disaster. So I thought about organizing it yesterday, but I just felt like that maybe would be too much for one day. So today, this morning, Zendaya and I ran out to Dollar Tree in our town. Okay, sorry about that. If you guys have never looked at Dollar Tree for organizational things, always look there first. They have such great like bins and different small containers, stuff like that for organization, and they're all only $1, so it is so incredibly inexpensive to organize with things from there. I actually did a like my favorite Dollar Tree items kind of video. I'll try to link that one up in the cards as well. But if you guys have not seen that, check that out to see what all you can get at Dollar Tree and what all you can use to organize different parts of your house. I highly recommend doing that. So let me show you guys what I got. I actually did not measure any of this stuff, so this could be a little tricky. Who knows, it might not even fit, and if it doesn't fit, I'm just gonna return it, and yeah, I'll be looking for something else. But I'll show you what I got, and then we'll see how much of it I can use, or hopefully if I can use all of it, that would be great too. So for starters, I got this little clear tray. If you guys can see it, it has 3 compartments and it's really shallow. I got this to keep things like my thread, my bobbins in, like my seam ripper, small things that easily get lost or just pushed around. So this will just sit in on a shelf. I got 2 of these cute little baskets. They're plastic and they are squishy, so I'm hoping even if they're a little wider than the shelf that they will squish in and be totally fine. I got these for like extra material or scraps or just kind of like projects that are either in progress or anything like that. These will hold that in this shelf. And lastly, I picked up 4 of these little bins. These are all in the same color. It's like a gray. I kind of wanted to go with a white, but I couldn't find anything white, so I just went with the most like neutral thing they had. So these I'm hoping will fit on the shelf. I'm not really exactly sure. If they don't fit on the shelf, I either will keep them and use them somewhere else in my house or return them. I'm not sure which, we'll see. So anyhow, that's what I have to organize. I'm gonna get started on this, but first I will give you guys a look at kind of what it looks like so we can see what we're working with. Okay guys, so here is what this looks like. I have unfinished projects on the top, candles, and some other things I need to go through in the middle, and just different, yeah, it just needs organized. I have some cords for my sewing machine. I have some wax warmers that actually need to go, so we might do some decluttering while we're at it. But this is just kind of what it looks like, and yeah, what I'm going to be working with. I started first by taking everything out, and then I just set my bins in to kind of get an idea of how I wanted them sitting or how they would fit best. And after I figured that out, I just began putting everything back in and then throwing out things or decluttering things that I hadn't used in a long time or that I knew were not going to be used. Here I'm just going through fabric and cutting off any awkward long tails if there's fabric that I want to save, and deciding if I want to save all of the fabric remnants that I had. Some of them are pretty small, but For me, sometimes I get these inspirations to try different sewing projects, and it's nice to have a couple small scraps of fabric laying around that you can use. I had a bunch of small parts and pieces laying here on the floor. Different parts were for my sewing machine, some of it was thread, some of it was buttons or like tiny pieces of trim or something for sewing projects. So I went through all of that and organized it up top in my little clear container, and that worked really well. So here is what it looks like now, and this really did not take me that long to do, but just for a quick run through, on the top I have like half empty shelf, and then I put this little container. It has some extra parts for my machine, buttons and bobbins, and some like lace trim, and then thread right there. And then down here, this is kind of like my sewing box. I have a spare candle in there that didn't fit over there, but it has like cords for my machine, it has elastic, scissors, pins in there, measuring tape, and then this shelf is all spare material. It's kind of odds and ends, scraps that I didn't quite want to throw away, but I'll probably go through it in another couple months, and if I haven't used them for anything, then I'll get rid of them. And then down here are projects. So these are sewing projects, and this is like a knitting project that I am still in the middle of. So these bins worked great. I just found out that you can't put them on like the top shelf because this little piece would not close with the bin up there. So on these two middle shelves, they worked great because the piece just goes in between them. So I'm definitely glad I went with these. So here is what it looks like. It looks so much better and organized, and I know where stuff is now, and I definitely have more space. So behind me is the next thing that I want to get done during this little nap time short, I don't know if it's called power hour. I'm not really working that hard, but one of the things on my list that I want to do. So all these bins, and there's some over there, these are empty, but they are all clothes from Zendaya, and I have gone through them to kind of weed out stuff that I thought she didn't need, but I want to go through them one last time. They've been sitting in her room forever, like since she was born. I mean, not quite, but as I started going through her room and getting out clothes, I didn't ever move any of her clothes into the storage room. So as you guys saw in my video a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I think, yes, I totally like reorganized our storage room. If you didn't see that one, check it out because it was quite a task. And yeah, it's not perfect yet. I haven't done much more work in there, but there's now room for me to move her clothes into there, and so that's what I want to do. But before I do that, I want to go through all this stuff, maybe weed out a few more things if I can. I'm trying to be really minimalistic about baby clothes, just because I know that if we do have another girl down the road, that there are chances that she won't be in the same season of clothes as what Zendaya was, or I'll, you know, want to buy some new things, and so I'm not really gonna want like 6 or 7 tubs of baby clothes in a year and a half. So I want to kind of go through this and yeah, see what I can get rid of, or maybe just pass on to someone else and see what I really want to keep. And then I have 2 more bins over here for some clothes that I don't have a bin for. You can see they're stacked up back there. I recently just went through her stuff and got out a lot of her 2T things, because she's pretty much in 3T, not quite. It kind of depends on like for leggings and stuff. But so I moved that stuff along. I need to go through that, get that organized, and then I want to move all this stuff into the storage room, and so it's completely out of her room and yeah, done before our baby boy gets here, so I don't have to worry about it. After I got about halfway through this first bin, I was really wishing that I was not doing this today, but I knew it was something that I needed to do at some point in time. And it's just crazy how stuff adds up over time, and pretty soon you have bins and bins and bins of stuff that you really don't need. So it was nice to be able to go through this stuff and sort out the stuff I definitely wanted to get rid of and keep the stuff that is nicer, and maybe even be able to pass along some of the nice stuff to someone who is having a baby girl in the future. Whenever I am organizing, even if I'm sticking stuff in clear bins, I really like to have labels to label my bins with, so when I go in our storage room or wherever I store them, I can look right at the label and tell what's in there without having to open the lid or anything like that. On a random side note, I actually got my Amazon storefront set up. Finally, I was so excited to be able to get that set up this week. So that is something else that I did, and I didn't mention it in the video, but I will try to link my page down below in case you guys are looking for anything either in the video or that I mention a lot. You can check there if it happens to be linked on my Amazon storefront. If it's from Amazon, it should be linked there. And if you can't find it, of course, you can leave me a comment down below and I can let you know where I got a certain something from. But if you're ever looking for anything, definitely head over to my Amazon storefront and check out my favorite recommended products over there to see what all I enjoy using. Zendaya woke up in the middle of me doing this, and I was kind of worried that I wasn't going to be able to get it all done and that she was possibly going to run off with lots of clothes and shoes and I was going to have to go find them, but she did really, really good. As you can see, she definitely has some nap hair going on, but she did good just playing and being content while I was going through the rest of the things, and I was able to get it all finished up, and that was a huge blessing. The last bin that I went through was kind of an odds and end bin that had extra towels in it. It also had extra bottles that had been given to me when she was born and extra baby blankets, like just miscellaneous stuff. So I still have to decide what I'm gonna do with all of this, if all of it's worth keeping or not, but the lid on this bin was broken, so for now I just moved it into another bin that did not have a broken lid, and that would stack nicely with the other ones I had. So as you guys can see, Zendaya is up from her nap, but I got quite a bit done. I got it downsized to like 4 larger bins plus 1 bin of like miscellaneous baby blankets, stuff like that. And then I have some small bins that have like shoes and towels and stuff like that in. But I did get it downsized, which is really nice. And it's organized and labeled, so it's ready to go into storage. And yeah, can stay there till everything needs to come out or whatever. I think I'm gonna go ahead and end the vlog here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that this was motivating for you guys and that you enjoyed the video. As always, I would love it if you would give this video a like, and if you're new, click that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on my future videos. Okay guys, till next time, have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye!